Oh, no porpoising. Ooh, that was a pretty run. Yeah, welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. Got the Blackjack 42 on the block. Gonna be replacing a stuffing tube, bushing, and a Teflon liner. I'm gonna show you guys how to bend your stuffing tube for optimal performance, and yeah, a few little tips and tricks to get this thing in and out of your boat. So stick around, don't blink. Big B here with Ironclad RC. I'll take a little closer look at kind of how the stuffing tube is installed into the boat before we get into actually pulling it out of the boat. So yeah, you got the stuffing tube retainer right here, and it's like a rubber grommet style through hole that holds and waterproofs the stuffing tube in your boat. This is a polycarbonate hole, so it's not like a fiberglass boat where you epoxy your stuffing tube into the boat. Epoxy doesn't really hold well to polycarbonate plastics, so they use a grommet style through hole. This seals the stuffing tube up and kind of keeps it where it needs to be. We'll take a look inside the boat again. What we'll need to do is remove these two stuffing tube retainer screws, pull this off, and our stuffing tube should slide right out. But before we do that, we need to remove the strut, the bushing, the drive shaft, everything. Get this retainer off. This is a stuffing tube retainer. I have a older video that shows how to shim up the stuffing tube retainer if it's misaligned from the factory when you buy your boat new. So check that out. I'll include the link in the description. Let's get the strut loosened up, and that should free everything up so that we can pull this stuffing tube out the boat. I only use one screw back here. It just makes it easy for me. So I'm going to take that screw out. Normally there would be two there. Alright, now we can pull our strut off. Our stuffing tube is free from the retainer. You don't want to mess that guy right there up. That's what waterproofs the boat. So let's flip it over. Look at that blueprint job, y'all. I can't wait to try it out. Oh man, I can't wait. Oh, she's going to fly. So now that we got the strut off, the stuffing tube retainer is disassembled. Just take that top piece there off. The stuffing tube should slide right out of its through hole. Alright, so you just want to pull the stuffing tube out like so. Now let's take a look at the stuffing tube I have in the boat, and we'll take a look at the new stuffing tube, see where the bend is, and we'll see how much bend we need to put on our stuffing tube. I like a little bit of down angle back here. A little bit of down angle. I don't like it pointing up like negative. I like a positive thrust, but not too much positive thrust to where it's actually pushing the bow of the boat down. You don't want the bow of the boat to be pushed down. You don't want like an up angle, or it's going to pick the boat up out of the water. This thing has a lot of power, so this is the most critical part of this boat right here, is your stuffing tube and where it's positioned and pushing the water. Let's take a look at what comes with our stuffing tube set for the 42. You get your stuffing tube that has a liner inside. Alright, and you get your bushing, new bushing, brass bushing. I got the old stuffing tube and the new stuffing tubes laid out. The old one has the red mark on it. Let's get a size for you. Alright, so it's 25/64 is the outside diameter of your stuffing tube, stock stuffing tube, or 9.92 millimeters. Let's take a look at how much bend I've actually taken out of this stuffing tube. Like I said, the red one is my old one, and the new one is the brass color. I suggest taking a little bit of the bend out. Alright. I'm actually not even going to use the pipe bender. I might bend it too much. I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure here, and you just use my hands to bend it. You don't have to take much out, not much at all. And really the only way to tell if you got this right is to install it into the boat. To install your stuffing tube is pretty simple. You just slide it right back into your grommet, into retainer back on, so I can start fine-tuning my strut and get it exactly where I want it. I may have to remove it a couple of times, put it back in, remove it, because we're actually going to put this boat on a flat top and try to get this lined up with the ride pads the best we can. I don't want that much down angle. That's actually going to push the bow of the boat down too much and cause it to porpoise. So let's take a little bit of that bend out. Once I put my strut on and get my strut where I want it, I'm actually going to be lifting up the stuffing tube like maybe 2 or 3 millimeters off the metal, so it'll be about right there, and that actually decreases the amount of angle. See how the angle is now? And once I put my strut on and lift it up so that the bottom of my strut is in line with the rod pads, it'll actually decrease the angle of my strut. I used some marine adhesive sealant in this grommet right here. Not much at all. I just want a little bit all the way around it. We can clean the access up later. Remember, this is how you pull it out. You don't want to mess up this grommet. See that? Now I'm just going to push it through my through hole here. Gonna wipe the access up. Alright. Like so. And that should do it. That should seal it up. Alright, so we got the stuffing tube in. We got a retainer in the boat. Let's start working on the transom. Let's get all the hardware back installed. These stuffing tubes actually come with the Teflon liner actually glued into the stuffing tube. The reason being is so that the liner doesn't slowly move itself back and put pressure on that bushing, bind that bushing up. So if you have a little bit of heat back here and your bushing isn't going all the way into the boat, I would definitely check the liner, make sure it's still glued into place. Let's see, this is our old bushing. Let's get our new bushing installed onto the cable. I get some grease, put some grease on our bushing. I like to just kind of fill up those little holes there with grease, marine grease. I use Dynamite marine grease. Just kind of slide your bushing on the shaft. Make sure you grease it real good. Alright. I put a little bit of red Loctite on my drive dog. I like to use red. Some people like to use blue. Personal preference, I guess. I'd rather just put a little bit of heat on my drive dog to get it off than the drive dog to start slipping while we're underway. So okay, put your bushing in the stuffing tube itself, like so. Make sure it's spinning freely, no resistance at all. Alright. Now you want to slide your strut on over the bushing, over your drive dog, push up and back in. Okay? The bushing should be flush with the back of the strut. Alright, now you can install your screws. I like to run mine about right there. Like I said, she porpoises a little bit at low speed. I've got back pads picked up just a hair. You see that? Alright, basically in line with the ride pads. A little bit of down angle. Let's get it tightened up into the collet here. And I got a 4S battery. Let's see what it sounds like. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's get the drive dog tighten where we want it. Alright, drive dog's tight. Feel for heat. Alright, there's no heat. A little bit of grease coming out the bushing still because my shaft is wore out. Sounds good. Nice. Sounds real good. Any heat right here, then you have a misalignment with your collet and you need to address it. So yeah, you guys, yeah, if you're thinking about upgrading your strut, you're gonna have to downsize your stuffing tube. All right, this is a 7/16 stuffing tube, and upgraded struts for a 1/4 inch cable take a 5/16 stuffing tube, which is basically half the size of this. So you're gonna have to fill in that gap on the grommet here all the way around. To fill in that gap, you're either gonna have to put a tube within a tube within a tube and solder it into place, and that'll waterproof this grommet area, because they don't sell a grommet without the hole, or you know, a smaller hole in the grommet. So you're gonna have to make do with what you got here. So something to think about for you guys. Also, you could, you know, seal it with some kind of sealant around it, an adhesive sealant, and that would seal it up as well. But you know, yeah. So Pro Boat uses these huge stuffing tubes, and you know, nothing's common with it. None of the upgrade parts are common. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Thank you guys for watching. Big B with Ironclad RC, channel where we tinker, test, and tune everything. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good. Ring the bells for future builds, future projects. As always, thank you guys for watching.